Greetings, traveler. In Skyblivion, there will be no smithing like in Skyrim, and no repair system like in Oblivion. Now I'll explain what we actually know from the developers, how this system is meant to work, and why it matters. Stay till the end, and enjoy watching. When we see Skyblivion footage with NPCs working in fields, chopping wood or using forges, it's very easy to automatically assume that if they can do it, then I, as a player, will be able to interact with these same things as well, just like in Skyrim. I asked the developers directly how this should be interpreted, and from their response one thing became clear. Interaction in Skyblivion does exist, but it does not go beyond Skyrim's level, and in some cases, by their own words, it may even be more limited. This is where interpretation begins, and I want to clearly set the boundary here. This is my reading of what was said, not a final confirmation of every individual case. The way I understand it is this: the simple fact that NPCs are doing something in the world should not automatically be taken as a guarantee that the player can perform the same action anywhere and in that exact spot. For example, if an NPC is chopping wood or working with metal, that doesn't necessarily mean this location immediately becomes a full interaction point for the player. I'm completely fine with the developers not going into every detail, and I'm genuinely grateful that they took the time to outline the boundaries of the system at all. That's why I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts. How do you understand this? And do you agree with this interpretation? And before we move on, just one quick thing. If you're enjoying this video and you like the direction of the channel, please consider subscribing. More than 90% of people watching these videos aren't subscribed, and I'd really love to have you here for the next ones. Thank you. In Skyblivion, there will be no classic repair system like in Oblivion, where weapons and armor would degrade to the point where you constantly had to fix them. Instead, the team uses a different approach, a tempered degradation system. The key idea here is that the item itself never breaks and never becomes unusable. Over time, only its improved state disappears, the bonus you gained from tempering or upgrading it. In practice, this means you temper a sword, get a damage bonus, and then simply keep using it in gameplay. After a while, that bonus gradually fades, but the weapon itself remains fully functional and never requires repairs. As I understand it from the developer's explanation, the same logic applies to armor as well. One important detail they didn't fully clarify is what exactly triggers this degradation. The developers only state that the tempered state degrades over time while the item is being used. In my view, and I want to be clear that this is an assumption, the most logical interpretation is that degradation happens during active use in combat, not simply from moving around the world. That fits well with Skyblivion's overall philosophy. The system isn't meant to punish the player for just playing the game, but to react specifically to how equipment is used. Materials also play a very straightforward role here. They don't introduce extra micromanagement or maintenance systems. The material only affects how quickly or slowly the tempered bonus fades over time. In other words, the difference between materials is a difference in pacing, not in punishment or mandatory repairs. Looking at the bigger picture, this approach clearly sits between two extremes: Oblivion's harsh durability system and Skyrim's complete lack of degradation. And based on what I've seen in community discussions, this kind of middle ground feels like the most reasonable direction for both types of players. Another important point worth clearly addressing is the depth of crafting in Skyblivion. According to the developers, it remains on the same level as in Skyrim. The key difference lies elsewhere, in how access to crafting works. In Skyblivion, recipes are not unlocked automatically. To create certain items, the player needs to find the appropriate recipes directly in the world, in containers, as loot, or through exploration. This shifts the focus away from simply leveling a skill and toward gradually unlocking knowledge by exploring the world. At the same time, the developers did not clarify whether the recipe system also applies to item upgrades. For example, whether you'll be able to improve a found Dwemer sword or helmet without first having the recipe to craft it. This question remains open for now, but that kind of approach fits well with Skyblivion's overall design philosophy, where knowledge and exploration matter more than automatic access to every crafting option. That's all I can share for now. If this was useful, you know what to do. See you in the next videos.